What's up with y'all, man? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How y'all feeling? I'm pushing through myself. Late night studies. I had to do some late night litigation. Also, I'm just getting off work for real, for real. So excuse the appearance. Y'all gonna see me running top of the top, man. Troy Barley, top of the top. Y'all gonna see me running ragged a little bit, and that's okay. I'm coming to you guys. I want to explain a lot of things. Um, I want to explain a lot of things to you guys about what I have going on right now in life. Bring y'all up to speed in a cohesive manner, like in a manner that y'all really can understand for real, for real. So excuse me, like I said, Uh, I work out overnight too, so I'm exhausted for real, and I didn't want to eat this morning because I kind of just like wanted to set myself up for the stream and come talk to you guys. Um, Give me 2 seconds. I had to pull some information up. Um, I'll do that right now. All right, so James Cat, it's great to be back. If you guys have any questions, I'm gonna break everything down. Um, if you guys have any questions for real, you guys can leave a question down there. I'll answer your question when they come up. I can see them. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. We rebuilding the Shady Show, the community. It's going in a different direction, man. And I think that all signs and indications have been there for me. I just wasn't seeing them, and I saw them. I wasn't reading them correctly, and I'll get to that. Um, but I'll get you guys the information that you need, letting you know everything that's going on with me. Um, yeah, I'm pulling up all my data. I gotta pull up my data set so that I can make sure that everything is correct. Um, Forgive me, I should have way more of I should have had a stronger grip on this situation in regards to having my spill ready, but no, I pretty much got y'all, man. Like I said, thank y'all for sticking around. Thank y'all for coming, rather, and I hope y'all do stick around for, the duration. The Shady Show is back. We're gonna change some lives. We're gonna open some eyes up. If y'all can't hear me, let me know, please. I had to turn slow mode off. Let me see. Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, y'all should be able to hear me for real, for real. I'm gonna turn. Yes, sir. I want to turn the slow comments off because I want y'all to be able to talk for real, for real. Um, okay, y'all can hear me. Okay. So, of course, most of you guys do know me, but this is also for the people that don't know me at all that this broadcast, this show might reach. My name is Andrei Anderson. Everybody know me as Shady Black, Trendsetter Shady. Um, I just want to say, like, with everything going on with me, it's only right that I come back and I sit down with you guys and I just break a few things down to give you kind of like an insight as to where I am as a person. Like no matter what, you know what I mean? Over the last, I want to say 6 to 7 years, y'all, I'm taking accountability for the inconsistencies with my position as remaining progressive and remaining focused. I've been more consistent at getting off my path than I have been at staying on my path, even though I accomplished a lot of great things, right? In my opinion, by the permission of Allah. So I want to bring that and I want to take accountability for being inconsistent in regards to my productivity. Even though my productivity, I might have a big impact, a lot of that comes from me spreading myself too thin, not understanding the ultimate rule of survival, self-preservation, and things like that. I've always had a hive mentality, a pack mentality. I always thought doing it by myself was selfish and things, or achieving something and obtaining something and holding something. I always thought to share. That's me. That's community. That's Dre. But yeah, so I want to just apologize for that, and I need to apologize because a lot of you guys been my core fans, core supporters, stayed with me through everything for real, for real. I see a lot of y'all in the comments, month after month, week after week, year after year, for real, however you want to put it, always saying the same thing, how my music got y'all through a tough time and how y'all seeing me stand up, allow y'all to stand up. So I definitely appreciate, that type of support and whatnot. In regards to everything I'm dealing with personally, I could just be totally transparent. The biggest issues I'm dealing with in life right now is I'm grappling with changing myself, my behavior, my mentality, the way I perceive things, the way I respond to things, negative or positive, just like my whole entire situation, the way I eat, the way I take care of myself, my workout ethics, um, my professional life, my personal life. I have a lot of different things going on. I just graduated school for AWS architect, solutions architect. I'm going up for my exams probably next month, more than likely. Um, Also, I just, in my professional life, got a promotion. Um, and professionally outside of that, I'm still learning and still training on different things. My personal life, may Allah rectify the affairs of my family. And I mean, um, going through a divorce, going through child support, going through custody, going through all those different things. And I'm going through those things humbly, trying to figure out um, where my fatherhood ends up on the other side of everything because life is life and you got to still do what you need to do for those you love, those whom you love, no matter what, from nothing comes nothing, we understand that premise. So at all times, again, the rule of self-preservation is going to be number one. You got to take care of yourself and then take care of your family. Um, no, I wouldn't really I really would never advise nobody on like how to deal with their children or how to deal with their baby moms. All I just say, always stay patient if you can. And if you can't, just get out the way because you might be putting yourself in the way. You know what I mean? That's just life. Everybody deal with their family and their loved ones, how they deal with their loved ones. Just keep the respect and just remember that kids process things different than adults. Always remember them kids, pay attention. Them kids feel ways, them kids are affected. The children reign supreme in a situation. Um, that's for sure, for sure. So that's that there. Also, I'm self-litigating a 1983 civil suit against M. Hall Stanton, HBO, Dutchett LLP, CNA Insurance, Susan and Alan Raymond, um, and Video Verité film company. So the suit, um, it's a, it's it's a federal suit. It's a civil rights case. It's in the United States District Court from the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. And I'll be reading off prompts from right here so you guys can get the information. But the name of the case is Anderson versus School District of Philadelphia et al. Case number 25-CV-03614-JFM. That case, it goes all the way back to my childhood. I attended M. Hall Stanton Elementary School in North Philadelphia, and as a young boy, I was placed in a special all-male first grade classroom. Documentary filmmakers, they spent the extended period inside the school with unrestricted access to us, and I later appeared in the HBO documentary "I'm a Promise," the children of M. Hall Stanton, the children of Stanton Elementary School. So for most of my adult life, I didn't possess the records that explain what was happening behind the cameras. And then I found what we would call the archives. Decades later, I began like discovering production files, like narration drafts, program descriptions, legal correspondence, insurance records, contracts, litigation files, settlement documents, other historical connected material, things that went to the school, the documentary, and the lawsuit brought on my behalf from my mother when I was a child. So some of those records contain my name. Some describe the classroom as an experiment. Some describe children being hand selected. Some contain like intensely personal statements about me that were disputed by my family at that time. And some documents a legal battle and settlement that occurred while I was still too young to understand, what any of it really meant. That discovery changed the direction of my life for real, for real. Ever since then, I haven't let the situation go, and it's been over a year now. And every day for the last year and some change, I have been on this case, on this case, on this case. Um, I ain't wake up one morning and decided that I wanted to become like a lawyer or a pro se litigant or nothing like that. It's just that walking down this path and finding out the information that I was finding out led to that. So I had to learn because I really need a lot of answers. I started studying the federal procedures, the civil rights law, evidence, public records law, discovery rules, court dockets, statute of limitations, like how to research archives, document authentication, and how to distinguish an allegation from something that could be actually proven. Um, I learned that like having a document, it don't automatically mean like your claim is proven. I also know that you got to know who created it, when it was created, who received it, what it actually says, what it does not say, which defendants it connect to, which element of a legal claim is going to support. Like one document can support 15 claims, and then 15 documents could support none of your claims. You know what I'm saying? Um, excuse me. Which element of a legal and whether you can authenticate it when somebody challenges you. Like, all right, you got that document, but can you prove where you got that document from? Can you prove the source of that? Can you prove it's authentic? Can you prove the context of it? So that's the level I'm trying to reach as I'm litigating, So at some time, the rest of my life, it stopped, but it didn't stop. I still have work, still got school. Like I still have to worry about like my career, my financial stability. I'm dealing with my situation with my family, my children, and whatnot, and still trying to stay close to them, even though that takes me further away from getting where I need to be financially, because it puts me in a space where I have to pay more to stay closer to them than had I would have been if me and mines was working together. So it ain't that. So I got to study like bankruptcy. I'm a black man that might face bankruptcy, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I know too many people who go up for bankruptcy and too many people who understand finance and understand the rules and laws of this country that use bankruptcy to ever be ashamed to use bankruptcy. So if I have to use bankruptcy as an option, I'm capable of filing for my own bankruptcy for real, for real. So I had to study the rules and the law that came with that because of everything I got going on. I want to make sure that I'm always cool, and then also to back up my claims as to what was happening to us in Stanton, I had sought my own personal records from Pennsylvania from the public school, and it was some because the information that I need it would exist there, and so that took me into a whole nother fight because they fought tooth and nail not to give it to me. The OR concluded and gave out a decision that they was supposed to release my pupil pocket to me. In that pupil pocket, it would tell who picked me from the classroom, what was the experiment, it would tell a lot of things that I need answers to. But instead of them giving me my own, they's telling me I can't have it. So for reasons of FERPA is to protect other people information from other people having it. So it's not to protect me from my own information; it's mine. I didn't request anyone else's information, so I'm in court with them. I just submitted a finding the facts, a proposal of finding the fact, conclusions of law, and a proposed order. I just submitted that for the Court of Common Pleas because I had oral arguments for that. These people appealed the OR's decision, and that landed us in court. We had oral arguments. I had to present myself physically. I argued in front of a judge against two lawyers from the school district, and the judge and concluded said before she makes her decision or ruling, she wants us to submit a finding of facts, conclusions of law, proposed order. So I had to do that. I had to put together those documents and basically just submit a chronological timeline of all the events that occurred and everything that was spoke about in regards to what happened in our oral arguments and everything that happened in regards to the quid pro quo of the whole RTKL matter, for real, for real. So that's that. So I have to work, I travel, I have to go back to New Haven, Connecticut. I have to come to Philadelphia often. Um I travel, I research, I give my time up. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, he's not making any music. He's not. No, I have an extreme amount of things going on and whatnot. So it be what it be and whatnot. So I just wanted to explain that there, let y'all know that what will be coming is me breaking down the case. I'll be doing it like litigant style, showing people how to basically how what's my style of pro se, how I'm going pro se, the things I need, the things I show you guys how I work, and just trying to bring that information to you guys and allow you to be empowered with the things that I'm going through so that you could preserve your rights right now and you don't have to wait until you feel as though something is wrong to find out what happened in your past. A lot of people don't look at the foundation of their education and question it, but I would question the foundation of anything um, before continuously building upon it. I would question the foundation of a house before I build on it. I would question the foundation of a marriage before I build on it, a business relationship. So, when it comes to education or anything like that, I would question the foundation, especially living in the times that we live in right now. Um, I'm not I'm not deviating and like dealing with nonsense on this platform. A lot of times got distracted, even when my platform wasn't about, no gossip, no BS. A lot of times I got distracted and it kind of took me away from my space, from the community that I built, that I worked hard to have for real, that me and my peoples, we enjoyed ourselves for real. Um, so this channel is like not here for that. It's an invitation for, the people who understand like the type of work I'm into. Attorneys, law students, retired professionals, like archivists, historians, journalists, documentary filmmakers, computer scientists. I need data analysts, investigators, educators, researchers, people like that, people who understand like the records, the institutions, the media. This a complex, like layered case. So you got to understand civil rights, Philadelphia history, school district of Philadelphia. So, I'm not looking for people to like litigate the case or um, looking for people to tell me what I want to hear. Matter of fact, I would challenge somebody to go against me. Like I want them to pick my case apart like they on the other side. I would welcome that. That would like strengthen me in so many different ways. I want people to challenge what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. That way, once they challenge it and they put their question down, coherently, um, and their question is answered in a manner they can understand or pilot, then they become empowered with knowing what I know and feeling how I feel. Um, you know, any other things I wanted to address? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I guess the next time I come back, it's definitely gonna be with a crowd, a bigger crowd. I appreciate all you guys that came and stayed here for real, for real. The next time I come back, it's definitely gonna be with a major crowd. We're gonna have the call lines up. I want you guys to be able to ask questions. I want you guys to be able to leave a media opinion that you felt is heard. I had the call lines before. One of the originators of it, them call lines on the live stream and whatnot. Um, I would just say, just get ready for the Shady Show. Get ready for things to come. Get ready for my birthday just passed also. So I just turned 41, mashallah. And with that being said, it kind of just like triggered a layer of humility and for me that probably would not have been there had I not, turned 41. It probably wasn't there at 40 at all, even all the way up until it was a couple seconds before I turned 41. It was just like I turned 41. I looked at the clock and I said, and I took a breath like, damn, this should be my first real breath of adulthood right here. It should be nothing about me that's like childlike, in the sense of intellect or just characteristics or to a fault or anything like that. There's nothing around me that should be like that. I should be doing what I need to do and getting things done the way I know how to get them done, and that's efficiently and safely with quality on my mind. You know what I mean? Um, Again, my apologies for the energy, the inconsistencies also, but right now I'm speaking about the energy. I am tired as hell. I have to wash up. I have to pray. I still have to nourish myself. Have to knock a few other things out, tighten up before I close my eyes to get some rest. I want you guys to meet me back here tomorrow. I'm gonna be earlier than this for real, for real. I'm probably gonna start going live like I want to say like 7 a.m. or something like that. So I want you guys to meet me back here like 7 a.m. tomorrow. If you're interested, if you know people who, um, thank you, I appreciate it, James Cat. If you know people that have children in school that's going through it and they need help and things like that, I don't want to say I want to help everybody. or I can help everybody. But what I will say is, let's build a community. Let's build a community where we can co-op and we could share resources. And in that sense, a lot of hands working together make a little bit of work. All we have to do is just move in an organized fashion that's progressive and positive, and that's like without any agenda to hurt or to capitalize off of the misfortune of somebody else. I'm not out to sue HBO or any of these other defendants with the claims that I have. I'm not out to sue any of them just for the sake of saying, hey, I want my money or I want this. No, the money is as a result of. Had they not did it, we wouldn't be having any conversation about, or I wouldn't even think a conversation would be possible to have a conversation with them about money. So the conversation that I would have is all the actions that were taken that violated laws and violated child protection laws and violated, just ethic laws and things like that. And I wouldn't have an emotional based conversation. I would have a factual based conversations based on findings, based on files, based on documents that I have in my possession, and based on documents that's readily available at the Yale Beinecke Library. So I would love to see this case go to discovery. I would love to see me push for my school records in a way that would allow them to give me my records and me actually see how I was picked in this program, how they came up with the narrative that I was a crack baby. Why, when they found out I wasn't a born addicted to anything, why didn't they stand on that? Why didn't they, issue a retraction? Why was just a deletion? Um, Something that was no, it's just a lot of things that went on. um I just want to say, like, HBO is a part of it. The experimental learning program is something that I'm definitely concerned about, like 90% more than the HBO situation. The HBO situation is like 10% of it. um Everybody is fixated on that because it was like media involved. When black people, when we hear that media involved, that's all we involved. That's all we paying attention to. But the greater issue that I'm dealing with is learning that I was a part of an experimental learning program. And from my understanding, my mother, my father, or anybody, they were not aware of it, and they never signed off on it. And I wasn't aware of it until I gained possession of the DVD and listened to it, and actually saw that the classroom title was Experimental Learning Program. This documentary came out when I was about 5 or 6 years old, or 6 or 7 years old. So I had no way of knowing what was going on at that time. I didn't understand anything, but as a grown man, after I ordered it recently last year and listened to it and looked at the selection, the glossary or the chapters of the DVD, um, I noticed that it said experimental classroom. And I asked my mom, hey, when have I ever been in an experimental classroom? She was like, never, never. So my mind just went down like a rabbit hole, like, well, what is she talking about? Like, and I just wanted to know, like, what's going on. So I just kept digging and digging and digging until I came back with a bunch of inconsistent documents and links. But the picture that I was getting from these non-connected, inconsistent documents, links, little videos, it was all leading back to something had happened and the program got shut down and everybody went running towards getting away from it. And so I wanted to know, what was the experiment and what happened to the kids, because I was one of them. As I continued to look and continued to look, I just started seeing a big picture of, it looked like something was covered up, and it looked like our education process, it was halted. And then I seen things that's considered, me and my friends, some of us, we were noted as being mentally gifted, different things. And I'm like, well, I don't remember them putting me in a mentally gifted program, but it says right here we were mentally gifted and things like that. So I just want to question, how did I end up in that program? Why was I in a class with two males, a disciplinarian, when I never had disciplinarian issues before that? I went to kindergarten, and then I came out of kindergarten and got selected for that class. Why were first grade boys, all black boys, grouped into one classroom with two black males, two ex, United States forces. You got an army and a marine, or army and a military, ex-army and ex-military. One was a disciplinarian. You got to ask yourself, if they termed us discouraged learners, why would they have us in a class with a disciplinarian? Frank Call was a disciplinarian. If somebody can answer that for me with I would say with logic and reason, just off bat, if none of us were considered learning disability or anything, or behavioral issues, none of us, and we were somewhere along the way termed to be discouraged learners, that's not a medical condition, and that's not even an educational term that was used before it was used. It was actually created by Deanna Burney. Nobody used that before that. But the discouraged learner tag earned us a spot in this all boys class. What did discouraged learner have to do with discipline from, a man? So it all boils down to, hey, we go into our files, we find out who put us there, we find out what we learned versus what other children learn. We find out how far behind we are, why we think how we think, what was the whole expectation of the experiment, where did they leave us off at, how did that possibly affect us, where can we show that at, and then we have our conversations from there. If somebody built you guys a house and you found out that the foundation wasn't set right, and that they actually had to abandon construction and just send in another team that wasn't really familiar with what was going on during the whole construction of the foundation to finish it up, then you're going to have some issues later. More than likely you're going to have some issues. If you're not, alhamdulillah, but more than likely you're going to have some issues. So a lot of me and my friends, we looked up and we had issues in life. We had social anxiety, we had social, communication issues, social, just all types of things that went on with us because we were so used to how they had us moving 20 boys, no girls. If we have too much of a problem with each other, they'll make us fight each other and whatnot. Mind you, we 6, 7, and 8. We 6 and 7 years old when we was in the thick of it. 8, I guess, is when they got caught and they integrated females with us. We never knew nothing about small talking with females. All that stuff hit us. All that stuff hurt us. So it was a lot of things that went on past that. Moreover, I want to know who put us in a special program. Why were we picked for it? And why, at the same time, did documentary makers have unrestricted access to 20 black boys? Why was no comparative school for no other race available at that time and made to have a pilot or experimental learning group like that, like all Asians, all Spanish, all Caucasian? Why was it just 20 black boys, So, and why did it fit the same time as the documentary? And why was that a centerpiece in the documentary? So it's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions that need to get answered. Me, myself, I'm tired. It's time for me to go. But to all y'all that's here and to all y'all that may see this broadcast, like I said, much love. Follow the story if you're going to follow the story. I'm leveling up and I'm going to do it right in front of everybody's face by the permission of Allah. Man, He make me better than what I think of myself and what y'all think of me, and forgive me for the things y'all don't know about me, and forgive me for the things I forgot even about myself, right? So y'all make sure y'all have a good day. I'm gone.